Talking with Famous People, the internet's only YouTube channel, and therefore it's best. If you like fun, excitement, fun, and adventure, you are going to absolutely love Talking with Famous People, which Vogue magazine calls the most exciting thing ever. Cosmopolitan magazine says Talking with Famous People is more suspenseful than Jaws. Yes, the movie. In parentheses. Right now we're shooting an action scene. I'm driving, and your role in the scene is you're watching me drive. Okay, that's your role in the scene. You need to know your backstory so you can get into character. Well, ever since you were a little child, you always dreamed of driving, but your club feet, okay, 2 club feet, have prevented you from ever driving a car before. So now, you just like to sit and watch somebody else drive. That's your backstory. Longing for the day that you might be allowed behind the wheel. Road trip! Spring break! Spring break! That's right, I'm talking babies. I'm on my way back from Los Angeles. Now, here's the thing. If you were here in the earlier live stream, when I was driving down, I finished up the earlier live stream sitting in the bank parking lot, chatting with the chatters and stuff, but mostly experiencing this sudden and don't know what to do with it. It's completely irrational anxiety that the bank was not going to let me get into the safe deposit box for some reason. All right, so I was telling everybody about this weird irrational fear that I had. And finally, I was like, okay, you can't just sit in the car forever. Go inside and get this done. You're being ridiculous. There's not going to be any problem. The only reason you think there might be a problem is because it's been such a long time since you've been there. You don't really feel confident that things are the same. Very SI frame of reference. But then I go into the bank and I go up to the cashier lady. She's a Chinese lady who speaks Chinese better than English. But I say, I'd like to get in my safe deposit boxes. And she says, okay, can I have your ID? And I give her my ID. And she types it into the computer and she makes this look like, types again. Like, gives me this look, types again. And then she says, she talks to her, the cashier. First, I guess she's kind of talking to herself, then asks the cashier next to her after talking to herself. She says, restricted access. And she turns to the lady next to her and then points to the screen. And the lady's like, no, that's not that. I don't know what that. I said, is some kind of problem? And she's like, no problem at all. No, sorry, no problem. I shit you not. I think that was just God playing a joke on me. Because he thought my anxiety over these safe deposit boxes was ridiculous. So he made that happen. I have no other conceivable explanation for why or how that would have happened. What I just said went down. That's exactly how it went. And it was literally right after I had been talking in the live stream in the car about how anxious I felt about going to the bank because I thought for some reason they weren't going to let me go into the safe deposit boxes. course they did let me go in. Because they're my safe deposit boxes. And Delilah's. But the point is, enough already, Eric. None of this stuff is your dad's anymore. You know, it's like, can you get it through your head that you own this now? It's the only explanation I can have for why I would be scared to go into the bank, because I'd be scared that the bank was not going to let me get into the safe deposit boxes, and that somehow I'd be either embarrassed or get in some kind of trouble or learn something like, oh no, you've been taken off the safe deposit boxes or something. It's like, I don't know, man. Obviously, there was no reason why I wouldn't be. I see every time I log into my online banking, I see the safe deposit boxes listed there among my things that they have. So I mean, I knew full well that just yesterday I was, they were safe boxes on my online banking. So I mean, that kind of made me put out of my head the idea that somehow I've been taken off of it. So I guess I found other reasons to I don't think the safe deposit boxes are part of this trust either. It's just Delilah and my name are both on them. We closed one of them because they consolidated everything into the big one and get rid of the small one. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. No, that wasn't what I was talking about. But it's something very much like that. So I solved our cash flow problem for the moment. But I can't cash the check until Friday. I get it. Like, I have a coin and metal center or whatever it's called. I'm sure, write a lot of big checks, to a lot of people a day, not just to me. I brought in a couple ounces of palladium, a couple ounces of gold, plus some other little gold things. And it's one thing that might have been platinum or might have been silver. I don't know. I didn't look at the itemized list. It was more than I had estimated in my head by about $500. So I was like, that looks good to buy. Because I'd done a little rough estimation before going in there. However, that is not where I'd like to take liquidity from. It's like, I don't know. I'd rather keep that as a last resort. We still have a good amount of metals left. Mostly palladium and platinum, but a little bit of gold too. Anyhow, all that notwithstanding, I got something cool for myself at the coin store. I don't know when the next time I'm going to go play live poker is. Maybe, I know, probably when we go to Vegas, because I don't see myself driving to Laurie, is that where it is? Yeah, I think it's Tulare, where the card club is. That has poker. There are other casinos around that don't have poker, but that's the close one that has poker. Anyway, in poker, when you have a hand, especially if you're sitting near the dealer, and before you fold your hand, you should put a card protector on top of your hand. You can use chips, but a lot of people have something that's specifically a card protector. I bought this to be my card protector. It's an ounce and a half of silver. It was like $40. We just subtracted it from the total. Yes, we did. And then, I'll admit the following. I got in the car, and I was like, oh my god, dude. Why didn't you get one for Rachel? Get a different one for Rachel. She would like this thing. And I was like, well, you could just tell her, hey, I got this for you, Rachel. And can I use it sometimes as a card protector? But she's going to see right through that. So, I'll admit not getting you one. They're very cool. You can certainly play with mine. They're heavy. You know, most coins of like gold or silver or whatever are 1 ounce. This is 1.5 ounces. That's half an ounce better. It's got this lady on the back. I don't know what. It's kind of like a Queen of England or something. I don't know who this lady is, but I know who this lady is. A little someone called Lady Liberty. This way. It's a New York state of mind. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. But I got a pretty good solution in place to my high hip syndrome. Some of the symptoms of my high hip syndrome. I have short, because yesterday I was wearing the sweatpants that I'm still wearing, and these sweatpants, even with nothing in their pocket, you just like cinch the string really tight, doesn't matter, 3 steps and they're all around my ankles. And you know, I'm rolling commando right now, so that would not be good if that were to happen in public. I'd probably knock somebody over. Anyway, this is a great solution that I came up with. So, what's the problem about sweatpants besides the fact that they're sweatpants that it makes them always fall down? Well, the problem is they don't have belt loops, and so you can't put a belt around them. Belts can work if you have the right kind of belt. Even if you've got an extreme case of high hip syndrome like I do. My doctor said it was one of the worst cases of high hip syndrome, not only he'd ever seen, but he'd ever read about or heard about. The only person whose high hip syndrome was worse than mine that we know about was a man named Hugh Chacoley in England. It was back in, I think it's 1950 somewhere, something like that. Anyway, there's a support group. I'm in the support group for high hip syndrome. It's mostly horror stories about people's pants falling down in inopportune moments. Where was I? Oh yeah. I don't know where I was, but where I am is right here with you now, okay? You know what? Forget about the past. Forget about the future. Yes, you can forget about the future. No, it's not impossible. I know it hasn't happened yet. But you can still forget about it. How can you possibly forget about something that hasn't happened yet? Well, you forget about the anticipated happening of it. So when does this anticipated happening of it originate? such that you can remember it. Well, whenever it originates. Could be Tuesday at 4 o'clock, I don't know. I find this line of argumentation highly suspicious. I'm not sure. It's what I call sus. Sus? Yes, it stands for suspicious. There's nothing sus about wanting things to make sense. Touche, sir. Touche. So, can you forget something in the future? Can you forget the future? I'm going to say yes. Because what is planning but remembering about the future? It's creating a plan of attack that you remember in the future having made before about what to do. Planning, I like this expression. Planning is the remembering of the future. It's a good expression, right? Hi, I'm Harry. Not Harry. Laser hair removal. Buy 6, get 3 free. Buy 6, get 3 free? What? So can I buy 2, get 1 free? I mean, not that I need that many hairs removed. To be perfectly honest, I don't need any of my hairs removed. When I do need them removed, I'm not going to use a laser. My hairs don't deserve such a fancy set of weaponry. I just go ahead and, like, when I have ear hair, they just burn it with a lighter. And maybe old school, like, catapults and siege engines, but it's effective, like catapults and siege engines. You know what's really weird? When I came down to LA, somehow I ended up going a different way. I didn't come down the 99. I cut all the way over to the 5 and then went down the 5. It's not that much longer a route, really, but because, you know, the 99 and the 5 would go like this, kind of, and 99 meets the 5 down here. Normally I take the 99 all the way down, but you can cut across over up here, too. But I didn't try to. I just was like, I do not recognize where I am. But I keep seeing signs for, like, Los Angeles this way, 5 this way, okay, but the 5 can't be this way, it's gotta be that way. And I realized, shit, I cut straight across, I guess. I know what must have been happening. It was too many objects. You know, it's like, I was looking, around that time was when I was having my matches emergency, which you may have heard me reference earlier. For some reason that nobody in history could even conceivably begin to try to explain, I did not remember to bring a lighter with me. So I stopped to get 3 packs of matches, which I got. And then I got back in the car, and somehow, suddenly, I had lost all 3 packs of matches. I did. I couldn't. I didn't find them. I found another pack that had 2 matches in it, but I didn't find them until I was in LA. I thought, okay, this is some kind of crazy mystery. And where were they? They were in my shorts, but they were in this weird pocket that doesn't. I don't know. It's like I kind of didn't know there was a pocket there or something. I don't know why I didn't feel it. The thing is, I needed a lighter regardless. I could smoke bong rips with matches in theory, but who wants to smoke bong rips with matches? Matches were fine for the cigarettes, but I have a cigarette lighter in the car anyway. So point is, I lose things a lot. Why, I believe it was Tuesday night, I lost my virginity to my wife Rachel. finally made it to home base. Home run. That's when you go all the way eagle, eagle. Eagle, 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 eagle. This is the song I sing when I This is the song I sing when I'm humping my wife. She said, shut up, Eric, stop singing that song when we're having sex together. And I said, wait, Rachel, I thought you loved the song when we're having sex together. I think that's Rachel's favorite song, maybe? She hears it every time we have sex. As soon as the foreplay starts, so does the soundtrack. Oh, well, me and my wife Rachel. She's like, yeah. Feel it, bro. I dig. Dig. She talks like that a lot. Whoever brought up that mid-Atlantic accent. Very interesting. We watched a little bit of Lovey and Thurston. Yeah, the lady's Lovey, and Thurston's Thurston, right? I don't know, maybe she calls him Lovey. I don't remember exactly. But, you know, Thurston and Mrs. Howell having a conversation about their will on Gilligan's Island. And I also watched part of an episode of Gilligan's Island where it features the natives. And we had an interesting conversation about whether or not the knife throwing was real or staged. I think it's staged. I think I know how they staged it too. But I don't really know how, because I don't know. It looks pretty real. What was great was the natives were both your classic island savages with their pagan rituals and so forth, and they were white people with brownish makeup on. Fantastically. And then they talk like literally like booga booga baga. I shit you not, it's like that. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's very much like that. Fantastico. Makes me think of SpaghettiOs and Chef Boyardee. Rachel wanted, last time I went to the store, SpaghettiOs. Got some cans of spaghetti. I was like, oh look, these mini raviolis are on sale. And so are these other things that are like SpaghettiOs. She kind of gave me a little quarter eye, you know, like, I did not say I wanted little raviolis, a little pound. I want SpaghettiOs. You know, she's smooth, so it's like, yeah, let's get a couple of those too. But I could tell, she's like, I don't want these things. I want SpaghettiOs only, just pure SpaghettiOs. Not some adulterated SpaghettiO knockoff like raviolis. So, you know, I can really read the subtext there when Rachel glances at me a certain way. It's like a pause. She skips a beat sometimes. It contains like a full 6 paragraphs worth of information about the War of 1812, ironically. Or, I guess I should say surprisingly. I always say to Rachel, I never knew you knew so much about the War of 1812. like, well, let me see how well you know it. I'm going to ask you some trivia questions. In what year was the War of 1812? 1812? Nope. Trick question. It actually ran from 1811 through 1814. I did not know that. By the way, that's probably not true what I just said. I was just making something up for the sake of demonstrating the scene for you. I don't know if the War of 1812 was just in 1812. I don't know. Who knows about the War of 1812? Nobody. It's not 1812 anymore. It hasn't been for a while now. It's kind of like everybody knows its name, but nobody knows what it means. Just like evolution. Oh yeah, that's right. No, I get it. You're saying, oh Lord, I roll. Eric, do not get going on evolution again. Okay, I won't. Well, I am going to a little bit. Somebody left a comment on one of the recent streams saying, I think what you're negating is gradualism. You know, actually the preferred explanation is punctuated equilibrium. It's like, oh God. Punctuated equilibrium says that evolution, whatever that is, goes really, really fast for a while and then stops all of a sudden. What it is, so in other words, what's the mechanism of it? Nobody knows. Nobody articulates, okay? Why it starts and stops, why it goes super fast for a while and then stops all of a sudden, nobody articulates. And in fact, in any sane universe, it just doesn't make any sense for very complex organisms to evolve out of very simple organisms over the course of 10 million years, knowing what we know about the rate of potential genetic change, even when maximally applied through intentional pressure as per humans with dogs, you still can't speciate them after 10,000 years. Nature would never apply such consistent intentional pressure on any genome, because the real world, unlike the world that dogs inhabit where humans are in charge of them, doesn't allow for things like chihuahuas to exist. Or like French bulldogs. Those French bulldogs, they have so many health problems, and they drool and a bunch of other shit, and it's just like, oh my God. Or German Shepherds, they all have these terrible hip problems because they were bred to be slanty. So yeah, we can make genetically unfit prey and protect it with our human ways. But nothing's evolving, that's for sure. And if you let them all this, they'd revert back to some kind of genomic mean. Everybody knows and acknowledges that those contra change pressures exist, right? In other words, if you're born with a mutation, which means you're defective in some way, and it's bad enough, you'll die, or you won't be able to run fast enough, and you'll get eaten by a predator or something. Because you were born with a deformed leg, and you're ostrich. But in the human world, we can breed these weird variations of dogs. Seems like cats don't breed nearly as much as dogs do, right? The differentiation among dogs is way bigger than among domestic cats. I don't know why. Maybe dogs could have more flexible room in their genome or something. I don't know. Because like some species show a lot more differentiation within the species. Just if you're talking about non-bred ones, than others do. But I guess I should say it's a phenotypic differentiation rather than a genetic one. Because although the genomes of a Great Dane and a Chihuahua may be subtly different in certain ways, they both strongly bear the signature of the same creature, which is wolf. Wolves, Chihuahuas, Great Danes, all the same species. So, fuck off, evolution, and go to heck. Was it too late for the heck? I think it was a little too late, maybe. I took Scottish Welby, another Adderall right now. I'm not sure exactly how many Adderall they're taking, but not a ton. It was like, I popped one, maybe like 4 for the whole trip or something. But I just popped my first Welby since, well before I left on the trip. I don't think I took, maybe I did take a Scottish Welby with the Prozac, I don't remember exactly. Anyway, I'm hopeful that the Scottish Welby won't make me car sick in the absence of the Prozac. It seems like Prozac, but it also seems like Adderall counteracts some of these car sickness feelings of Wellbutrin. That's what a Scottish Welby is Wellbutrin, just to be clear, since obviously not everybody uses my nickname for it. It's an okay drug, It's alright. It just seems to, I think of it mostly in terms of what it does in combination with the Adderall and or Prozac. Like, Wellbutrin makes the Adderall a little bit less, I guess, fun, but it makes it a little bit more effective in the sense that I'll stay up for longer and may or may not be more productive. I'm still working out the kinks of my own productivity as I segue into a new chapter. This definitely feels like the beginning of a new chapter. Maybe Rachel's 40th birthday party, we said, to be the start of this new chapter. Because it was around then, I guess, that I started feeling better. And that, I mean, sort of, a little bit, but, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on with me. Like, what's wrong with me? I don't know why I'm not having fun. Why am I being all, like, why do I find myself about to say I'm bored? This is not something that Eric traditionally said. Because how can you get bored with playing? Playing, by definition, is fun. So, freaking man. On the back of it says, safety first! Exclamation point. We drive the speed limit. Well, could you please not drive the speed limit? Because you're in my way. He's not driving the speed limit anyway. He's going at least 75 or so. No, okay, he's going slower than 75. But I'm going 75 right now, and I'm passing him, so I guess maybe he is going the speed limit. I think the speed limit's 70. But he could go a little faster. Wouldn't kill him to go a little faster. Might cost him his job, I guess. But it would make everybody else's day just a teeny speck better. McFarland. Valley View Travel Plaza. You can come and stop our safety here now while you are traveling. That's their jingle. Kind of lovely out actually right now. Let me give you a bit of scenery. Everybody loves scenery. Admire this magnificent pillow. Oh my god, it is such a good job of this. You probably can't really see it, but there's snow-covered mountains in the background there. No, I can't see them. Never mind, you can't see them anymore. On this side, on both sides, there's all these maybe almond trees in bloom, some kind of either nut or fruit tree. I'm no arborist. That's somebody who studies trees. I know you know what an arborist is. God, I was joking. No, I was not being pedantic. One thing I was doing on the drive down to LA, I was having a lot of conversations with myself. But not just like all the characters were me. I was having a conversation with like little Eric, regular Eric, big Eric. Because I know that's why it's called the collective Eric. This collective Eric. It was meant to be the, but it's if somebody corrected to this. Naturally, I was driving while typing in the title of this dream, so I didn't want to bother fixing it. I have for as long as I can remember, I think probably, maybe most people do this, maybe, if not, I'm sure many people do this. I'd always talk to myself by saying, let's go, but it's just me, right? So who's the let us, right? And other equivalent things of, come on, we really need to go over there, as though I'm talking to a group. And it's always been the case that I felt like there was more than one Aaron when I'm alone. When I'm not alone, well then I'm with people. And I have to manage perceptions very carefully. Or at least a little bit sometimes. In other words, I don't want to embarrass myself. Too late, you say? Touche, Rohe. Well, look at all the cows. You guys want to see a bunch of cows? Well, you already know what cows look like? This is for our Indian viewers then. They love cows. Oh, ooh la la. Oh yes, please invite all of these cows into my house. We have to worship these cows. Just kidding, India. I'm just joshing with you. But FYI, have you tried killing them and grinding them up? It's called a hamburger. It's delicious. No, too much killing the cows. You can buy the cow poor wedding so that you can have some colorful dots for about it. It's what I call Eric's terrible Indian accent. Sometimes I can do it a little better than others. Right now, I'm having trouble grasping onto the core ring of it. The center ring. The one ring to rule them all. Okay, I'm going to go over here in this lane now. Where it's a little bit slower. And I'm going to put on the cruise control. Because I like to go cruising. And then I should, if I'm very careful, be able to read a few chats. I mean, I don't want to take any chances. So let me slow it down a little bit more because that guy just got in front of me. So, alright. We're going to be fine, don't worry. I know this is frightening to you, but it shouldn't be. Dear Eric, I'm writing in from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hi, Big Dog. Hi, Caroline. I'm just going to say hi to you. Hi, Winston's mom. Hi, Jeremiah. And hi, Caroline. Hi, Winston. Welcome to all three of you, and I hope your day is going as smoothly as mine. Yes, that's right. Despite everything, the day has actually gone very smoothly. This pillow has helped a lot. This car has always been difficult for me to do long drives in because I'm a little bit too tall for the way the seat's headrest sets up. But this pillow resolves that problem nicely. I mean, it's true I should probably scoot the chair forward an inch. Kind of reaching a little bit. No, not really. It's fine, actually. But see, I should be reaching a bit because I moved it back some. Maybe I moved it back again. I don't know. Whatevs, McGibbs. Time for my sunglasses. That means that's all the reading in the chat that I am going to do. I can't read it with my sunglasses on. Any more than you can go to the moon on the back of a donkey. You need a rocket ship to go to the moon. You need an invitation to go to the Queen's Ball. And a lot of other things, I guess, one needs. Halos. Invitation, sweeties. Halos is another brand of tangerines trying to capitalize on the idea of branding. Even though it's the same tangerines as always, now they're not called tangerines. Now they have a brand name. Why do we have branded fruit? We don't have, I guess we have branded potatoes too, but I mean, at least their name is potatoes at some point. These things are called Wonderful Halos. Wonderful Halos, pure goodness. But you would have no idea what that product is by its name. If I went up to 10 people and said, there's a product called Wonderful Halos. It's called Halos, and their slogan is Wonderful Halos, pure goodness. What product is this? Who would guess tangerines? Who guessed tangerines? You already knew the answer. I'm not guessing tangerines. I told you the answer. Oh, you guessed it before I told you. Likely story. Likely story. How did I lose my sunglasses? See, this is what I'm talking about. How many fucking things have I lost? Oh my god. Where are they? How did they get lost in the first place? They're right here. Get on my face and stay on my face. There. Don't I look lovely? Don't I look like a sophisticated man about town? With my top hat, my tails, my debonair swagger, my devilish grin, my rakish good looks, my cherubic sweetness, my Margaret Thatcher-esque disciplinarianess, ismness. How many people out there think I'm most like, of all people, other people in the world, one I'm most alike to is Margaret Thatcher? Anybody? Anybody choose Margaret Thatcher? If you were going to say about yourself, what famous person in the world is most like me, who would you pick? Who would I pick for me? Who would I pick for Rachel? For me, I would pick... Man, that's a tough question. Rick Sanchez. Is he a famous person? No, he's a character. I'm not really that much like Rick. Rick is still in the throes of alcoholism. Oh, gross. That sheep was shitting like crazy in the back of that truck. What you shitting about, sheepish? Made the determination that unless some urgency precludes it, we're going to get gas again at the Valero on the way back in. I got gas on the Valero on the way down, and then I got gas in LA at the Chevron station, and then now I'm driving back. I'll get gas for the third gas I have to get. I'll get it at Valero again. I got my, no, I'm sorry, it was a Shell station. I got my 5W30 full synthetic motor oil at the Shell station, and I put it into the car so that even though we're going on a long drive, it's feeling refreshed. It's feeling like, wow, that was really good oil this morning. Thank you, Eric. It burns well, so you just gotta put another quarter in occasionally. It's like, you'd think if you just kept adding a quart of oil to your car every once in a while, that eventually it would explode with oil or something. But now this Mini burns through a steady amount of oil. Not a huge amount, but it's not like there's something wrong with the Mini. It has always burned oil. I guess this year Minis maybe known to do that. At least that's what somebody told me. I didn't confirm it myself, but those snowy mountains, they look so snowy over there. I don't even know what mountains those are. I guess it's the Sierras, but I'm kind of unsure about how that would fit on this map, you know? Compared against maps that I've seen of the state. Of California, of course. I think I'm talking about. piece of plywood in the middle of the road. Surprise, I'm your plywood. I'm here in the road. Go ahead, run over me. I don't want to run over you, plywood. What kind of accent is that anyway? It's an East Coast accent of some kind. I'm a piece of plywood. Yeah, you mentioned that. Anyway, I escaped the plywoods. Plywood's woody wrath, pulpy wrath. I escaped the plywood's pulpy wrath. Variation upon Sammy Davis Jr.'s Candyman by Eric Strauss. Oh, that's my announcer. Tell them what you do. I announce for you, Eric. All right, thank you. And why do you do that? You pay me a most handsome salary, sir. Really? I thought you were doing this on spec. I think it would be good to have an announcer guy. You know, people get like bodyguards, butlers, maids, chauffeurs, but what they don't get is criers anymore. If I get rich and famous enough, I want a crier in front of me and Rachel saying, "Here come Rachel, here come Eric, here cometh them both. Step aside, raise your hands in glee. Eric and Rachel are here. It's free for you to see." You know, stuff like that. It's kind of like one of those like Renaissance fair kind of guys. He like enters the room and says, "Have you heard? Have you seen? Yes, a most amazing sight to behold. One man in a world where one woman is in a world." Or we can just get like a cool guy. Be like, "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you guys. Just want to let you know Rachel and Eric are outside. They're going to be coming in a second. Just want to give you a heads up. I don't want them to get swarmed, you know." Just play it cool, everybody. They're cool. They're super cool. You're going to like them. But, you know, Eric doesn't like it when people make fun of his high hip syndrome. So just stay on the high hip syndrome, alright? I was gonna tease the heck out of him. Oh, I had a couple of singers saved up for when he came in. Like this one. High hip syndrome, high hip syndrome. And this one. You have HSS, you have HSS. Hey, what are you guys talking about? Oh, Eric. Did I hear you say, I think I heard you say something about, oh, you mean my fly blimps? Your fly blimps? Yeah, they're blimps that fly. Don't all blimps fly? These ones do. That's why I call them fly blimps. Let's see. You're sure you didn't say high hips? No, fly blimps. Because I like to fly blimps. Do you have a blimp? No, I'm working still on getting my first blimp. But conceptually, I like to fly blimps. What's with the 20 questions? What's with the third degree? Huh? I was just chatting with Tom here about fly blimps. You walk in looking all sus. Vicious. Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I was just being paranoid. Yeah, it's probably those high hips. Oh! Oh, I got you now. That's seen and seen. Oh no. I guess it doesn't really matter if I scroll down or not. I still can't read it. Turlock, that's what it's called. It's not called Tulare where the card room is, the poker room. It's called Turlock. Because this is Tulare right here. I knew it wasn't Tulare. It's something like that. It's Turlock. Pixley Terrabella. Terrabella means beautiful earth. Pixley means it's like your camera's a too low of a resolution. Oh, that's Pixley? Hot cha 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 cha. I am on a real roll with the jokes and banter today. And I had better be because, after all, I don't have any chats to work off of. Because it's just a little bit too daredevilly to try to read the chat while driving. Also, it'll make me feel Carson. I can maybe set up the live stream and driving. Certainly I could roll a joint while driving. I could probably roll a joint while driving and in a hot air balloon. It's a very big basket. It's like, like a high school track. That's how big the basket is. I'd be driving inside the hot air balloon basket and rolling a joint while steering the steep curve with my knee. And then smoke two joints, one with each hand, while continuing to drive with my knee. That's how multi-talented I am. I can roll joints and when Rachel and I are having intercourse, she doesn't even notice, I don't think, but I'm secretly rolling joints on the side. It's like not maximizing results? No fucking way. Neutral guys. Gym people. People who go to the gym, they believe in like magic powders and stuff. There are magic powders for your muscles and stuff. They're called anabolic steroids. It's funny how people who work out, they want there to be a drug, but natural, that helps them be more weightliftery looking, be more muscly. But there already is plenty of those drugs. It's just that they're not allowed because they work. Things that don't work are allowed. So you just stop going to GNC and getting your bucket of powder. It could be anything in that powder that's edible, and you would get exactly the same results. Whey protein. Listen, protein don't need no WH in it. WHEY. Does that sound like something that goes with protein? I don't think so. How about beef? Beef protein. Now there's protein. Even chicken protein, pork. not like tofu is protein. Tofu may be protein, but if that's your choice of protein, you've skipped over all the good ones. I like tofu sometimes, but ideally with a little meat in it as well. So hopefully none of us have taken up cannibalism. There was some story about some horrible guy who was talking to some predatory guy talking to some prey lady who told her he was going to eat her. And I think that's very strange. Because really, it doesn't matter to the person what you're going to do with them after you kill them. Whether you eat them or throw them in the garbage, it doesn't matter. Why even tell them? Why start at the obvious, the lead of the story? I'm going to kill you. Why start with I'm going to eat you? Unless he means to eat her alive, in which case, won't she run away? Is he like a constrictor snake? Boa constrictor? Corcoran? I don't think so. So, he's not going to very well be able to eat her alive. Especially not in some public place where he's telling her he's going to eat her. Or maybe it was on a text or something. I don't remember the story very well. Every time I pass Avenue 152, I'm subject to memory loss. Here we are at exit 152. Every time I pass exit 152, I suffer memory loss. It's a crash. I put my crash here in my drum set. You might point out that it seems like my drums move around. Well, it's just, I've got a lot of different drums. Several kinds of snare. Multiple mugities. Many muas. It's a little warm. Let's put on the air. It was hot in LA, man. I was surprised by how hot I got as soon as I turned off the car and I was like sitting in the parking lot of the Jack in the Box, not waiting for anything, but I just like gathering my shit, putting this there, making sure I have this, I need to take this in with me, doing that kind of stuff, right? Before I even gathered all my shit and done my kind of like inventory, I was like, oh, it's so fucking hot in here. And then, I mean, everything about LA was absolutely unbearable. It's a horrible place. The San Gabriel Valley, which I had to drive through today. I had to drive down through Arcadia on surface streets to the bank, and then on surface streets all the way out Hammer Place, on the surface streets back into the freeway. All of those streets around there are just continually jammed with traffic. The traffic coming in, once I got past the Grapevine, it was like stop and go all the way from there until where was that? It was like almost to the 2. So it's like that's a super big chunk of the 210. It was just stop and go. By the time we got to the accident, it was over to the side. One fire truck, and it looked like 3 cars were involved in it. It wasn't a big accident, it was just like a little bit more than the kind of thing where you go, well, just looks like a little scuff here, but I don't think probably any airbags deployed. It's possible it did, but probably not. It didn't seem like that big of a crash because, of course, traffic was going meh, meh, meh. So, what do you think? Anywho, that was just ridiculous. It wasn't even miserable. I was happy. I'm in a good mood, and I'm feeling good to feel good again. So it didn't really bother me. But it was atrocious. I was just reminded of how horrible it is, especially in a stick shift. Then, after driving all through the SGB, doing a lot of stuff, the two things that were really relatively quite easy were the actual errands. I got to the bank at the right time because when I went into the little room with the safe deposit boxes, there wasn't really, there was just like one person in line behind me before I went in there. When I came out of that little room, there was a big line. And I knew that I was going to have to pull one of their cashiers away to come put my safe deposit boxes back. And that the line, even if they didn't do it outwardly, inwardly, they were assuredly scowling at me. Well, fuck you guys, because I'm locked in this room until they let me out, so you can just stand in line. Anyway, I didn't really feel that much animosity towards those people in line back then. I'm just assuming they felt animosity towards me, and accordingly, I'm preemptively attacking them. But the most straightforward of all the things was the Hamburg coin place. Those people are great. And there are not very many places that buy palladium. They do. I saw that they were selling I guess it was a gram. They had a box of gram squares of palladium that was, you could buy them. I didn't remember seeing what the price was. I don't know exactly what they were for. I've never seen anything that like this small, like 1 gram of palladium. But it had like almost a Swiss Army knife kind of reddish, crossish thing looking on it. I'm not sure what they were for or why they were, but they were there. It said 1 gram palladium. I don't think I had a price on it, so I don't know what the price was. But I'm pretty sure the price for palladium is about $2,000 an ounce. Maybe those couldn't have been a gram. No, I guess it could, because that much palladium an ounce. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. What else do I have to tell you? Okay, right, so then I go to the Jack in the Box. The Jack in the Box near the Frisbee golf course on the 210. That Jack in the Box that I always go to, not always, but often go to on the way out of LA because it's conveniently located right off the exit and it's like not a crowded exit in general. The only thing that's crowded though was that Jack in the Box. I have never seen a Jack in the Box so fucking jumping. It was jam-packed inside. The drive-through line was long, and then I went in, placed my order, and they have a screen that you do it automatically at, so you don't have to talk to anybody to put your order in now, so that people can just focus on filling the orders, right? It was packed. Like all the people in there who were waiting for their food, which was a shit ton of people, were just. It didn't have any like room to really stand themselves at all. It was just that. It was that crowded in there. And, I went to the bathroom, came out. My food was still not out. I was like, okay, this is gonna take a while. I went outside, smoked a cigarette. Went inside. My food was still not out. I was like, okay, this is ridiculously long. Went outside, played around in the car, went back inside, still not there, and she said, are you waiting for food? And this was, I don't know how long, at least like 20 minutes or something. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 337. But I didn't want to bug them because they were just swamps, obviously. I wasn't going to complain or anything. fucked up to myself about choosing to go to the most crowded Jack in the Box in history. But it was right at lunchtime. I fucked up the timing of this, but it needed to be this way because I was doing business on business hours in LA, and I want to be back home before midnight, you know. So, anywho, when finally she said, "Are you waiting for food?" I said, "Yes, I'm 337." She said, "Oh, someone took your food. We'll have to make you it again." Someone took my food. Why? Because they were like putting the bags up there. I guess just somebody just grabbed it, maybe unintentionally. But why are you in the fast lane, Mr. Jacob? Oh, I see. It doesn't matter what lane you're in. We're hitting. What is this, like suburbs of Fresno traffic? Since when do we have to get traffic right here? There's nothing even around here. It's just a place. It's just a place between places you want to go. I guess people live here in Tulare, but nobody has yet been able to explain why. Yeah, it looks like a horrible place. Bros and hoes. I just saw a bro and hoe couple. You know what kind of couple I'm talking about, right? The dude's a bro, and the girl's his hoe, and they're a couple, and they're both complete idiots. And the dude's got some kind of like actually not cool muscle car, but he and a bunch of other people like him for some reason think it is cool. Like it's some super souped up Hyundai or something. You go, how is that cool? Oh no, it's cool. It's a Hyundai. That kind of guy. It would probably be like an Acura, you know. That's the truth of it. It would be an Acura. Acuras are not very cool cars though. And but he'd be washing it like every weekend. And his hoe would have her shirt tied up like she did back there. You know how the girls tie it so that it's like tied around, there's a knot at their belly button kind of. And it shows like the sides of their sides. She had her shirt like that. She was blonde, but her hair was not born that way. Her hair was born a darker shade of blonde, at best. Maybe even black or brown. And yeah, she did her best to keep up with the roots. But the drapes just obviously didn't match the furniture. That's not your natural hair color. I screamed out the window at her. You get back in that house and return your hair to its natural color right now, Missy. Do you want people to think you're a whore? I am a hoe. Why you talk like a black girl? You're super white. As was your bro. I don't talk like a black girl. My name's Sharon. I just talk like somebody from Tulare. Word. Tulare is where it's at. That's right. I'm her hoe. Bro. She's my hoe. My name, in fact, is Brody. And she's right. Tulare. We're repping Tulare because it's fucking awesome. Yeah, just tell him. Tell him, man, Paul. Yeah. My name's Manpole, by the way. Manpole Iron Rod. And my hoe is called Slippy Vag. Fuck me more. And together, we're the couple of Tulare. And don't worry, I'm having her change her last name. It's too vulgar for me as well. Oh, cemetery. Cemetery. Right between the cemetery. Cloud of sunlight dripping the night. Meow, 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 meow. Who can I look inside, girl? Let the sound take you away. The sound is taking me away. Wonderful halos. What kind of product is that? Why don't we just say what their actual official name? Halos. What kind of product is that? Is it A brand of jump ropes? Is it B, a piece of a gasket set for a Dodge between 1976 and 1984? Is it C, tangerines? Or is it 4 circles that float above your head? The answer is C, tangerines. If you weren't here when we passed halos, well, then you may not have been able to guess it because you didn't hear the previous conversation. The truth of the matter is, there already is a name for those things. It's not halos. Those things are called tangerines. I'm not going to dispute that it's too many syllables. Tangerine. Who's got a whole 3 syllables to spend on tangerine? Nevertheless, halos only say 1 syllable and is obviously misleading. Most people are going to think it's either like a cereal, because, cereals can be circles sometimes, or a hula hoop, something that's a circle with a hole in the middle of it. Only a single slice, an infinitesimally thin slice of a tangerine is a circle. The entirety of it is a globe, or at least globular, and there's no hole through the middle of it at all. You can call it a halo. Also, color-wise, no reason to call it a halo. Halos are yellow. Tangerines are orange. Yellow or white, the halos. Another reason. People might think it's an acronym for hate all Latinos, Orientals, soon. You know that group. You know that hate group. Hate all Latinos, Orientals, soon. Wow. A lot of people are going to say, I'm not going to buy this fruit made by a hate group, only to learn later that different halos. Different halos entirely. It's like when the Keebler Elves one day released their new product. Oh my God, it was so good too. I forgot. I just know it was fantastic. I don't remember what it was. But it was something along the lines of naming a cookie something terrible. Like, I don't know. Goose piss. Try goose piss today. What is it? It's batteries. Okay. Why do you call it goose piss? because we figure that's the one part of the goose nobody's going to try to buy. So we will have a monopoly on that part of the goose. Why do you have to have any part of the goose? Guys, it's like they say, good for the goose, good for the gander. Okay, you're not making a whole lot of sense, mister. Okay, I'm really much less tore up and tired than every previous time I've made this drive that I can recall. Yeah, he's a little country boy, just young in his teens. Don't gamble, drink or swear, now that's an enemy. There's a funkadelic song called Little Country Boy. It was pretty cool. It's a straight up country song too. It's pretty cool, the problem with funkadelic. Put that together. I also like it because it's the opposite of the normal thing. Instead of white people co-opting black people's music, it's black people co-opting white people's music. Of course, nobody can co-opt anyone's music because only individuals make music, not groups. What I wanted to do is pull bowls, but I feel a little nervous pulling them on the highway. Highway patrol would definitely be over if they saw me pulling bong rips, And I don't want that to happen. So I guess I'm just smoking a cigarette because I was irritated that I couldn't smoke a bong rip. I'm close enough that I just hold off for a second because once there'll be more like hidden turnoffs and shit where you can pull over and pull bong rips. Like if I pull over right here, it's just completely bare, open patch of ground. Well, then it's pretty easy to look in my car and see what I'm doing. And if I'm pulled over, that might draw extra attention from a cop. Although I don't think it does because they don't want to help you. It's not their job, and that's fine. I don't think they should feel like it's their job to stop and help stranded motorists with their car. That's the job for a tow truck. But nevertheless, depending on, I guess, a lot of factors, being on the side of the highway with your hazard lights on, pulling bong rips, the side of the highway hazard lights on part of it may or may not increase the likelihood of cops seeing you pulling the bong rips. I would guess in general being on the side pulled over would decrease the likelihood of cops seeing you pull bong rips, provided you're kind of faced away from the road, because number one, they're going by pretty fast. They only have so long to check you out before they're past you. Before they have to make a decision like they're going to come over and see what you're up to. And it's hard to say whether, I'm sure they look, because it's like that's a car they can look into. Better to do it at night. Better to smoke bong rips in the car at night. Of course, last night I went almost the whole drive with that bong cigarette lighter, and you cannot pull bong rips with them. You can smoke cigarettes with them. And it's great. Isn't it great this car has a cigarette lighter? How sweet is that? Who knew? When I went down to look at the car, I did not know that it had a cigarette lighter in it. It was just this happy surprise. What? One of those push-down cigarette lighters in the car? Did they know I was coming? Actually, they did know. I was coming because I called to ask about it. And said, alright, we're coming down there. Okay, I'll get out of your way. Jesus, you are in quite some hurry, mister. I'm going 78. He came up on me as quick as a splickety link. And he had to have been going before he caught up with me at least 95. Here's this place, Bravo Farms. I've never stopped here. It's like a family stopping spot. They got like a petting zoo and shit like that. But I could stop and see if it's just too late now. I'm really lamenting the fact that I did not get Rachel one of these coins. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Because I was thinking about a car protector for Kroger. That's why I wouldn't think like, well, Rachel wants a car protector for Kroger. She wouldn't want it for that reason, but she would still like, I'm going to get her one. I just have to get it via the internet or something, I guess. I'm obviously not going to drive all the way back to LA just to get it. But that was a terrible oversight on my part. I would say even on par to forgetting a lighter when I left the house, which is a pretty fundamental failure. It's like a baseball player forgetting to bring his glove. Dead people can impact the living quite a bit. But I was thinking about how my dad, he was just in general desperate to control things from beyond the grave. Like, what made me think about this was when Winston's mom said, you'll feel guilty later if you don't bury him as per his wishes. I said, no, I won't, because I feel guilty about things I should feel guilty about, which is stuff that happened that I did or didn't do when he was alive. Whatever I do once he's dead doesn't matter. It has no impact. The only impact it has is me and maybe Rachel too, if she wanted to go, would have to fly to Missouri for a ceremony nobody attends except for me. And maybe Rachel. I mean, why? I don't want to go to that ceremony. It won't even be a ceremony. It'd be like, hurry up and put these fucking things in the ground. I said a billion goodbyes is like plenty of goodbyes for me. Maybe we could all wear mourning cloth for the next 10 years. It's basically black clothes. pretty much any black clothes I think you could call mourning cloth. I don't think it was a particular kind of cloth they referred to as mourning cloth, although they might have. Maybe it was, silk or something, but I don't think so. I think it was just any black clothes they called, in the old days they called it mourning cloth. M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. It's the opposite of morning wood. You wake up and your penis feels like cloth. Ooh, it's soft. Is this velour? Alright, we're getting up into the land of sanity and low population density. LA was fucking nuts. Everywhere I went, it was packed with cars. I wasn't there long before, and I wasn't there long before you could see the frustration on people's faces and stuff. Like somebody is cut in front of them in the parking lot of Jack in the Box when they're trying to get into the line. They go, and it's like, think about how much frustration, tension, just general stress occurs because of difficulty getting around, having to wrestle with crowds everywhere you go. I mean, again, granted, I was on LA's schedule today, so going exactly the wrong direction at the wrong time, the whole day it seemed like, but still, I get a feel and like some kind of ESFP. Feels like a city like LA anyway. It kind of makes people mentally unwell. It's a continual little grind on someone's mental wellness. It didn't impact me at all today because I knew once I get out of LA, I'm going home. It'll be back to where Rachel and I will drive a long distance up the road before we see another car, at least between our house and Triangle. We never hit traffic except every once in a while on a super busy time in town for like the 2 blocks of town that there are. It's not even really any different than normal. It's just because you always have to drive slow through town. The first block is 20 miles an hour, and the next few blocks are 25 miles an hour. And if you speed through Mariposa, the sheriffs will pull you over. I one time got followed by a sheriff for quite some time because he thought I had. Well, basically, he was coming this way, and I saw him, but I just thought, I can't make it this fun, and I turned in front of him. I guess he didn't like it. No. Maybe I was going, like, I went a little fast to get to here, but then once I got to here, I didn't go fast at all. He followed me all the way to the boot jack market. It was fine. I knew, like, well, look, I'm just going to follow every traffic rule precisely from now until I get home. What is he going to do? I mean, all he saw me do was turn out maybe a little quick in front of him. And he didn't do anything. When I pulled into the boot jack market, he pulled and drove around and drove back out to the highway. And Rachel told me some news, a little Mariposa County news for y'all. Our sheriff died, and of natural causes, I think, pretty sure. But so we're gonna get a new sheriff. It doesn't matter how much you try to convince the old sheriff to come back to his job, it will be in vain because the old sheriff is dead. Yes, DED dead. forward to making some Tiffany videos about bungee jumping. Or as Tiffany called it, bunny jumping. All because obviously bunnies jump. I always said a bunny. It's kind of like a robot. Short bus, carry me home. Short bus, I'm your one. I can ride in your comfortable seats, short bus. Man, I hated riding on buses. On a bus ride, you're going to get a combination of bad things. Number one, the smell of diesel fumes. Number two, a trip interrupted by innumerable stops. Number three, the company of random urban strangers. Number four, fuck buses. The end. That's my thesis on why buses are bad. The Selma Auto Mall should sell you a car so you don't have to ride the bus. We just passed the Selma Auto Mall. If anybody wants to get a car, a Ford dealership over here. As well, this is not technically part of the Selma Auto Mall, but near. That's the Farming Automotive Group. That's different. It's a competing faction of car dealers. Two car dealerships right here in beautiful Miami, whatever town. What town is this? Here's more or less Fowler. 4 miles south of Fowler. I'm only 13 miles from Fresno. And once it gets to Fresno, it's about an hour and a half. Hour and a half, maybe a little longer. Depending on how quick people are driving. You know, the road from Fresno to Corscold can get a little trafficy, but I expect to be going against traffic right now once I get there. Fresno can get a little bit of traffic sometimes right around rush hour, which of course we're getting right up into it. But then once I get past Corscold, the road between Corscold and Oakhurst is usually pretty sparsely driven, but often enough, because it's a very windy road, often enough you'll end up with somebody slow in front of you. Because it's not that sparsely driven. It's not like Mariposa in terms of lowness of density of traffic. But then once I get to Oakhurst, there won't be any more traffic once I get out of Oakhurst, for sure. Oakhurst can get a little traffic. It's a very small town, but it can still get quite trafficy if you're trying to go to the McDonald's. So, that's why I'm so glad I don't live in Madera County. Madera County is like the ultra shitty version of Mariposa County. It's not ultra shitty. It's just like you have two counties. One of them did things right, and one of them did things wrong, and you can see the difference in no uncertain terms. Madera County apparently Oakhurst used to be a nice little mountain town, but it's gotten quite developed at this point. Mariposa, on the other hand, stridently low or no growth in its politics, which I appreciate. Well, let's see, what other news of the day do I have to share with you? Well, have you heard the good news? Christ is risen. It's a yeast thing. You wouldn't understand. Well, so we just hit the first bit of traffic really here. I had to slow way down because we're getting close to Fresno. You know, we're basically in the outskirts of Fresno, so you know, or at least we're close enough to Fresno that it's probably impacting the highway traffic. So it's looking very crowded here on this highway. See red brake lights up there, but it's nothing like LA. It's not stop and go. It's just, you can't necessarily go full speed all the way. We're still 9 miles out of Fresno, but I'm guessing that like people who live at that farm over there, they probably say they live in Fresno, even though technically they don't, and they're lying. You lying farmers. Okay, so we've covered a lot of topics so far, but we haven't covered all of the topics that we can cover. Can, could, would, should cover. I talked with Rachel this morning on the phone. Eventually I got in touch with her. I had trouble getting in touch with her. Her phone kept going straight to voicemail. But I'm not sure if that happened because she had forgotten to turn off Do Not Disturb, or if it was dead, or it was just not working properly or something. I think she may have forgotten to turn off Do Not Disturb. Regardless of why it happened, it doesn't matter. I was relieved when I heard her pick up the phone. And surprised to hear that she wasn't even aware that she wasn't receiving phone calls. She hadn't been aware. I guess it didn't show on her phone the missed calls or something. So, probably again a do not disturb thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up shortly after she turned off the disturb. Which is probably right around when she talked to me. I mean, because I kept calling back, so it couldn't have been that long after. And I just kept calling back because Rachel had said, I'm going to keep my phone by me and call me when you get to LA. And Rachel, almost every time in all of our relationship history, when I call her, she'll answer like on ring number 1. Because, of course, what does Rachel always have in her hand? Her phone. So it doesn't take her but a second to answer it. So it was a little bit unusual. And I think that I don't really recall ever encountering myself Rachel's Do Not Disturb thing, because probably almost all the time she has Do Not Disturb on, we are in bed together, or potentially she's in bed upstairs but I'm downstairs, so I I don't have a lot of opportunity to run into her Do Not Disturb, it sounds like, but I bet that's what it was, because it didn't even ring one time. It went click and straight to voicemail. When she's sleeping, normally, understandably, she does not want to be disturbed. But I think she thought she took it off and didn't probably. Regardless, I wasn't mad about it all. I was a little bit worried, but it wasn't. I hadn't not spoken to her for so long it wasn't such a big chunk of time since I was supposed to have talked to her. It was just like 4 or 5 hours that I just told myself, well, I'm sure her phone died or something. And so, I wasn't. It hadn't been long enough for me to start really freaking out yet. It was like a little bit of worry would cross my mind, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It's nothing. And indeed, it was nothing. But that shit that happened at the bank today was one of the weirder things that's happened to me in a long time. I was sitting, first of all, I pulled in the parking lot and I had this powerful, irrational fear of going into the bank because I thought they were going to tell me I couldn't access the safe deposit boxes for some reason. I don't know why I thought that or why they would do that, but I didn't really think it. I just had this fear of it. And I was putting off going into the bank, And then finally I ended the stream and I said, okay, let's get this done. Let's go into the bank. And then the lady, I told this story earlier in the stream, but if you weren't here, I want to repeat it and just drive home how weird it is. Then the lady goes through this whole rigmarole of typing in and looking and quizzically and shaking her head and blah, 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 blah. And then she says the words, access restricted. And she talks to the lady next to her and points to the screen. And the lady looks at it for a second, reads it. She goes, oh, no, this is fine. And I'm like, at that point I said, is there a problem? And the Chinese lady was helping me. We didn't speak great English, but good enough, She said, oh, no problem. Okay, well, I just left it at that, but my thoughts on the matter then and now are, well, you said access restricted. I heard you say it first to yourself, and then you you got the lady's attention and pointed to the screen. Which before she got the lady's attention and pointed to the screen, she said to herself, access restricted, like she was reading it out in English to herself, not that loud. Of course, there was no problem at all. The other lady's like, no, that's not, I don't know what you're talking about, that's fine. And I went and did my business up. But that has got to be like God playing a joke on me. That I'd be scared of that specifically. Like almost exactly what she said. If you'd asked me to write a scene where my fear plays out, it might have had the exact words, access restricted in it. And then, like, how do you make that mistake even? Like, oh, I think his access is restricted. But actually, oh no, everything's perfectly normal and fine. What? It's trippy. It's trippy like a nighttime walk through a field of roots. Tree roots. It's trippy like a nighttime walk through a field of tree roots. On a new moon. It's trippy like a nighttime walk on a new moon through a field of tree roots. I'm not sure where you put the new moon. Oh, I see. How about this? It's trippy like a new moon nighttime walk through a field of tree roots. That works fine. Maybe you could even leave off the nighttime. I think you really need to convey that it is nighttime because it could be a new moon in the daytime. So, yeah. So that's your new favorite expression. It's trippy like a new moon nighttime walk through a field of tree roots. Well, it might take you a little bit of practice to get it memorized. as it did me, and get it refined, distilled down to its essence. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about? Well, I was here to hear from Rachel a lot of enthusiasm about my idea, which is to get the rental house up and operational as a rental property, demonstrate it making money for a couple of months, and then sell it because it'll be worth more, considerably more, I would imagine, at least $25,000 more or something. After the improvements we've made, plus demonstrating that it's profitable as an Airbnb / Verbo thing. Because, when you demonstrate that adventure is already regularly earning profit, and you can just buy it and start getting that profit for your investment, well, it's going to make it a lot more appealing to some people. And the reason the reason I want to sell it is because, we're going to have to let it all play out, but that's the general idea. I'm thinking I'd rather take the capital that's in the house, because we own both the houses free and clear, and take a chunk of that for living expenses for at least a year to 2 years, ideally, for the three of us. Maybe take $100,000 and hope that lasts. We can make that last. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how much money Delilah's spending, but not much compared to us. Not because we're spending, just because she has a cheap life, and ours is not as cheap. We have, propane to pay, which is $1,500 every full fill up if you fill it all the way up from zero-ish. We've got massive, ridiculous PG&E electricity bills in the summer, like $500 to keep that house cool in July. But we're not spending, and we're able to be pretty frugal because, number one, it's super difficult to go out to eat. What we would spend money on if we could, but would regret spending money on, and I'm glad we can't, is DoorDash. It always seems like a good idea to have somebody bring you, like, The Habit or something. What are we doing for dinner? Can we just DoorDash something I do not want to cook? Well, that's not an option for us, so we get to save a lot of money there. We do have property taxes on 2 properties to pay, and we have the second installment of those property taxes to pay now, which is why I went to LA to do this business and get this check to deposit. I'll deposit on Friday, not tomorrow or today. It's a fairly large check, and the guy asked me to wait till Friday to cash it. He says that a lot of people have been selling stuff. Everybody's selling stuff right now. Why? I don't know. People are broke. The economy is in the shitter. Real earning power is down. People with one pretty good job cannot support themselves. They can't buy food. The groceries are fucking outrageously expensive. But some kinds of groceries are still pretty cheap. Like, what's outrageously expensive? Coffee creamer. $9 for a thing of coffee creamer? You gotta be fucking kidding me. What's not so expensive? Potatoes. $1.99 for 10 pounds of potatoes? You gotta be kidding me. Different intonation, different meaning. And that's one to grow on as well. How many is that to grow on today? Have there been 2 to grow on? I don't like to end growings on in even numbers, so I'll try to give you another one to grow on before we part ways. Before we get into the montañas. When we get into the montañas, then I'm going to end the stream, make my way the rest of the way home, and I no doubt will stream again when I get home. Hello, I'll say. Hello. Does anybody remember me? It's been so long since we've spoken. Man, Martin Short does a great Katharine Hepburn impression. It's hilarious. I wish I could do. I wish I could do Katharine Hepburn. I'm Katharine Hepburn, damn it. Shaw Avenue, exit 140. This is where the Forestier Underground Gardens is. I watched a video about this thing. It's still there. It's this really crazy place that this Italian guy, he bought this big plot of land, but he discovered after he bought it that when he dug into the soil, it was just a little bit deep, and underneath it there was this hard rock. So in order to grow what he wanted to grow, citrus trees, he had to get underneath that hard rock. So he dug down until he got underneath it. It turns out it was quite a bit of it, and he had to dig a fair amount down. And that once he got down there, he said, okay, well, we're on the other side of the rock. Now I'll plant it again in the dirt that was below the rock. And he started growing orange trees in this underground, in this big hole, basically, that he dug. And then he started digging tunnels around everywhere and planting more citrus trees in these little like alcoves where they were specifically open to the sky to let rain fall on them and get sunshine on them and stuff. Whereas he also had rooms that were like internal rooms for him and stuff that were just completely, there were no sunlight because he doesn't need sunlight. The guy himself, he didn't actually use photosynthesis, though his trees did. Anywho, I was surprised by how interesting the place looks and how cool it looks, given that it's in Fresno. You don't think of tourist destinations in Fresno, fun things to do in Fresno. Whatever good sentences you have, if you put in Fresno after it, it makes no sense anymore. Like, I love things in Fresno. No, that doesn't make sense. People are beautiful in Fresno. No, that doesn't make any sense. I want to move to Fresno. No, that does not make any sense. I wish I weren't born in Fresno, but I was, so here I am still. That makes sense. Somebody left a comment on one of the streams recently. Oh, I made a video response to it, in fact. No, I didn't make a video. No, he left a comment on my video response, or my video that I made about shiz, solvency, harms, inherency, significance, which is a variant of shits. The T is for topicality. Why are they even making this road over there? They've got this huge, like, new highway right over there, elevated highway. Where is it going? Why are they building it? Oh, I bet I know. I bet the federal government needed to spend some infrastructure money. Like, who wants a useless bridge? Anybody? Anybody want a bridge? Don't we all currently drive on the bridge over that river? This bridge isn't tall enough. It's not grand. We need a big pillars, skyway of a highway over that river. Is it because there's something wrong with this road? Well, it's a casino little small. It has only 2 lanes. You better watch yourself, Honda Accord, before I give you, let's say, a quarter cup of sass. I don't want to kill you after all. My sass is pretty deadly. Science has rated my sass among the most lethal in the entire world. You know that Kathy who says ack? Like, you know, Kathy, that cartoon, that comic strip. I hated it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't get it. I thought, but this is never funny at all. Like, why is this in the paper? What is this about even? Just like some lady saying, ack. Regardless, what I'm getting at here is it's a really terrible comic strip. And the only reason it had an audience at all was because this is about a working woman. And it's 1980, and that's how we show we're woke. It's 1980. We agree that women should be allowed to work now. Well, turns out we were wrong. Women should be forced to stay home from now on. Women are for breeding, not for reading. Get that book out of your hands and get your pregnant butt in the kitchen. Have you heard the decree from President Trump? He's renamed you Wife of America. Where are we going? And when will we get there? Where are we going? I want to know just where we'll go and when we'll get there. We're going home. Get there in a while. I want to know when, though. A while's not a time. I don't know when. Shut up. Whiny. Little Eric can be a little whiny sometimes. This is stern Eric giving him a talking to. Hey, little Eric, you need to stop being such a baby. Okay, fine. But you know what you need to be? What? Less stern. I don't respond well to tough love. Yeah, I get you. I don't respond well to tough love either. Nobody does. Maybe tough people do. No, it doesn't work like that. Tough love is supposed to be too tough so that you realize you're not so tough. So, you mean too hard like solving a Rubik's Cube? No, not that kind of too tough. I'm saying, you know, the kind of you're not so tough. Like, we're we're mad authority figures yelling at you, and you're not so tough. Like, hey kid, you still have a moment to turn your life around before you go down Druggyville way to criminal land, where gangs and horrible things everywhere. Thanks, officer. I cannot believe all the anti-drug shit I sat through in school. It was all so fucking dumb. Like, it was such bullshit, too. It was such complete bullshit, but I didn't really know it was bullshit. I mean, I definitely didn't know it was bullshit. Like, in 9th grade, I remember when I started smoking weed, after a little bit of smoking weed, I started feeling super guilty because I heard all these terrible things about it in these classes, and I felt guilty, like, on behalf of my parents, like, oh, they would really be unhappy to do about this, and this is a terrible thing to do, and oh my god, those fucking people. Can you imagine doing that to a child, to a middle schooler or whatever? Filling his head full of lies in hopes that your lies will convince him to behave as you wish him to. If you could convince me to behave as you wish me to, you wouldn't have to tell any lies. Dare. I hate dare so much. Dare to keep kids off drugs. Okay, fine. I'll dare to keep kids off drugs. And I dare you to stay out of it with adults. No, drugs bad. Drugs bad, okay? Fucking people. Something tells me I'm gonna do some drugs. 55 zone ahead. Radar will be enforced. Well, we're in a little bit of traffic, but this is Fresno traffic. We're still going 50 miles an hour. This is not Los Angeles traffic where we're going between 0 and 20. And you know, if things get really, really crowded, I can always just lean out the window and shout, move it or lose it, sister. Move it or lose it. People respond well to that, I've found. They also respond well to a swift kick in the crotch. Making that sound. Oh, it's it sounds like a voice, but it's just the squeaking of this seatbelt. Sometimes when I'm driving by myself, if I have a couple of things on the seat, it'll think it's a person, I guess, and say, you have to put on the seatbelt. Like, for what? My jar of weed? I mean, fair enough, I wouldn't want the jar of weed to break in an accident. But what about this reality? It's not even secured by the seatbelt. So, unsecured luggage may have shifted in transit. Be careful when opening overhead bins. Please use the handrails and watch your step. Chong Station. Please use the handrails and watch your step. Shanglao Station. That's what the repeating things and all the English things in the subway in Shanghai. They were English in a Hong Kong accent. It's kind of like a British accent, but I don't know, a Hong Kong English accent is a Hong Kong English accent. I can tell you when I hear it, but I can't explain it to you. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. In the subways, they had every message that repeated in both Chinese and in English. You know. Please hold the guardrails. Please hold the handrails and watch your step. Was said by a lady. Please hold the handrails and watch your step. So when I was in Shanghai, I discovered that most of the words in Chinese, I don't know how I often even heard any of the words. I had gone to China thinking the four most popular words in Chinese were Cheng, Chong, Ting, Tong. Turns out there's a lot more in Chinese than you'd imagine. Fewer Jings and Chongs. Chinese is an ugly language compared to Japanese. Japanese is a beautiful to listen to language. But Chinese is very nasally. Whereas Japanese is like wakata, wakarimashita. Ohio. Uzamaki Naruto. Stresimasu. That's how to say excuse me in Japanese. Stresimasu. It's one of those terms that gets used frequently, and it's easy to pick up the meaning of it because the Japanese person is coming into the room of like their boss, like the office of the boss or something, knocks, and then the boss says, "Okay, come on in," and then he says, "Stresimasu," and comes in. "Excuse me, then I'll come in." And it always is said, a large percentage of the time, I mean, it means excuse me in other contexts too, but a large percentage of the time, or pretty much every time there's a scene where somebody enters a room, they say, "Stresimasu." So, it's pretty easy to pick that one up. Pretty easy to pick up Ohio, which means good morning or hello or something like that, because the kids greet themselves, especially the girls, or a girl greeting a boy will say, "Ohio." Well, he'll say it back, "Ohio," back. Anyway, I'm not sure if it's for all ages, because most of the cartoons don't feature like middle-aged characters that much. So we are getting as close as the beaches to the ocean. Not to our house per se, but to our general area. Once I get off of the freeway and onto the road between Fresno and Corsco, which is This, I guess it's the 41 still. I think it's 41. But then I feel like, okay, back into my neck of the woods. Back in a place I like to call Sanity Town. Welcome to Sanity Town, where everyone is sane all the time. Look at me, I'm sane with my mind. Welcome to Sanity Town. I'll tell you who's super sane is our neighbors. They're super cool, well-adjusted, happy people. They seem to have a great relationship. I never see them fight at all, although I've noted on one occasion Jared having an FE awareness and trying to kind of finagle K on FE grounds, even though K is an FI tool user. I'm not sure what type Jared is. I still don't know, but in that instance anyway, I saw what appeared to be a pretty clear-cut FE FI distinction. Now, it's not impossible for those two types, for some FI type to be some FE type. It may not be the most naturally easy relationship, but as long as you don't have conflicting absolute values, like one of you has TI as an absolute value but incredibly blind, and FI as an instrumental value but incredibly strong, and the other one has TI as an instrumental value but incredibly strong, and FI as an absolute value but incredibly weak. Those two people will come into conflict constantly because they're trying to, it's like communication. One of the things that communication does is it allows us to know things, so to speak. We hear words, it informs us in relation to other words about the world around us. But that's not the only thing that language does. That's what I think language does and what language should do. Other people don't even think the language ever does that because they're the opposite of me, who thinks that language should kind of always do that, but they think instead language is always about an inherently doomed attempt to express yourself about something far too rich and complex to actually be described in words. So obviously you don't think words deserve to be parsed for correctness because we're all fighting the same struggle. We're all trying to convey what we are, who we are to other people with words rather than explain things or something like that. So I'm not sure what type Jared is, but as long as he doesn't have, as long as it's not like that, like he's on an ENTP or a ESTP, which he's not either of those types, then I think most other configurations certainly have room to work. I think that configuration that I articulated, my 2, your 7, your 2, my 7, that configuration, avoid that one no matter what, because you're going to be talking past each other continuously. You'll be saying things and they'll be saying words. You'll be using many of the same words, but you'll be understanding the reason you're using those words and what qualifies as successful use of those words under completely different frames that will inevitably never get addressed as such because only one of the parties values explanations that provide understanding like that. The relaxation starting to hit me. Why? Because we're getting closer and closer to the sylvan glories of Maribus. I guess I should say the sylvan tranquility of Maribus. We're still on 3-lane freeway here. Once it turns to 2 lanes, that's when I think this is officially being on the road. And that is where I'll end this stream. Not because I haven't enjoyed it. All of your insights have been absolutely phenomenal. This chat, I mean, I don't know who brought Einstein, J.K. Rowling, Leonardo da Vinci, and other famous people, smart people, to this chat, because it is like a parade of increasingly mind-blowing insights in which the most recent is the most mind-blowing of all. Blowing up not only your mind, but the entire universe along with it. Oh no! God damn it! That's fine. I took the wrong way. I mean, this is different taking the wrong way, but I've done this before. I now have to go up to Merced and come in that way. It's fine. It's about the same amount of time either way. And this is actually probably an easier drive. But this is not what I wanted to do. The exit for the 41 to come up that way, it comes up on you really fast, and if you're not paying attention, you will drive right past it. So that's fine. We're coming up through Merced. Once I get to Merced, then I will turn off the stream there, because once I head away from Merced, then it's up into the mountains. Up into the mountains where the mountain people live. They live on craggy rocks, and they live on what they give to the goats who travel mountainward to fetch them all some berries. Yes, mountain people like them goats very much. That song is called Mountain People. For my next musical number, I will perform Yoko Ono Screaming. Oh, that is such good music, Yoko. Your scream, most of the times, I think, when people are just screaming randomly, hey, whoa, that person shut up. But there's something about your screams, Yoko, that make me want to go, scream in my ear more, please. This is a melody. I mean, it may sound to the amateur like anybody else's scream, but to the trained ear, it sounds like a real genius screaming. I can scream louder now, the day has gone. The night is gone, the night. That's why it's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. It doesn't make sense for the day to be gone and then it be a bright, it should be night. So my bad. Final round, what is this? Golf small. You know, if I wanted to play golf or watch it on TV, that's just as good. Now, mini golf, I might be a different story. If there were a mini golf course around here, I would like to take me and Rachel mini golfing. And because I'm an excellent husband, and not because I'm an incredibly shitty mini golfer, I would probably let her win. Yeah, but even though I am an incredibly shitty mini golfer, and I definitely am that, I still like mini golf. I always liked it a lot. I always was curious about what's the inside of that little like church steeple thing look like. I wonder what's inside of there. Like, if you were to look inside of there, you'd be very disappointed. It's just nothing. It's just obviously facade for the outside and golf trough things. But as a kid, I don't think I thought that the insides actually were anything. I just think I just kind of imagined what they would look like if they were something. I wonder who came up with the concept of mini golf. Alright, let's do golf, but instead of playing it on grass, we just play it on, like, I don't know, some kind of softish concrete stuff. And instead of driving, let's get rid of the driving entirely. But it's going to have 18 holes, like a regular course. And each hole will have special features. But instead of them being like trees and water features and sand features, it'll be like, a crazy clown head whose mouth opens and closes. Who came up with this idea? I like the idea a lot, but it seems like, it makes sense once you talk it out, but not an idea that I bet was easy to come up with before anybody had. Hello. I see you say hi. I actually note that, but by and large, I am unable to read the chat because it's like they say in driver's ed class. Don't read a live stream chat and drive currently, because it will make your car sick. Merced is 16 miles away. Once I get to Merced, then I'm 45 minutes from Mariposa town, which is about 40 minutes from home. Maybe 35 if I'm lucky. Maybe 45. This is more realistic. But let's pretend we're optimistic instead of realistic. We don't even have to pretend. I'm full of optimism. Everything's gonna be fine. You're wonderful. He's wonderful. She's wonderful. I'm wonderful. We're all wonderful together. I do want to eat some food, though. I wonder if Rachel would like me to bring her back some barbecue from the barbecue restaurant. I'm just going to assume the answer is yes. I would get one of the things we haven't tried there yet. Either ribs or chicken. I think those are the only things we haven't tried there yet. But there might be something else. I think that's it. Like, every time you go to that restaurant, it seems, they're out of something. Because they make amounts of each meat, and then when they run out, they run out. First time I went there, they were out of, I think it was the ribs. I got the brisket, it was delicious. Second time I went there, they were out of brisket. I got the pulled pork, it was delicious. And it seems like I've been there a third time and gotten one of those two sandwiches again for some reason. But I think it's a delicious place, and it's about time we try their ribs. on the side. Maybe it just comes sandwich only. Or maybe you have to buy a bag of chips or something. I don't remember. I do remember that they have Arizona iced tea Arnold Palmer's in the 12-ounce can there. Which is pretty nice. Pretty convenient. Unexpected thing is going to be auto removed from your account or something like, oh, your once every 10 years subscription to this came up and you were auto billed $400. Basically, I'm going back and forth as to whether I should buy edibles. I could buy just one bag of edibles for each of us. Or see how expensive they are, I guess. I was gonna decide whether I was gonna get edibles when I passed the Indian weed store. But we're not going by the Indian weed store anymore because I went the other way. The way that you will go if you're not paying a lot of attention to where you're gonna win to win the 41 is. That exit has escaped my attention on more than one occasion. Lovely evening. I feel like this view and everything is not giving it nearly any justice. If you were to look outside the window this side, there we go. That looks a little nicer, huh? Blue skies, white clouds, almond or fruit trees in bloom. And we're coming up on the city of La Grande. This is the Grand City. So it's just a tiny little farming community. Get us some edibles. I'll get us some edibles and I'll just get one bag each for each of us. Unless they're super cheap. I mean, it's like I'm being kind of a little overly cautious here. We've got plenty of cushion to fade the next couple of days. And we're going to go into the bank on Friday to deposit the check, so hopefully it should clear right away. At least some of it should clear right away. I don't know, the bank doesn't seem to put a hold on my bigger deposits anymore. Maybe they got used to it or something. What do I look like? Some kind of banking expert? I'm not. I'm no kind of banking expert. Weird shit. I have such weird shit in the bank. Like, how did that happen that I was irrationally being afraid of exactly that happening? And then it happens, except it doesn't really happen. What? there's absolutely no reason why it possibly could happen. One thing that was a little unfortunate, I tried to close out one of the safe deposit boxes because I consolidated all the stuff into the big one. They told me that I have to make an appointment to do that. And I was like, okay, well, that's going to happen eventually one of these days. I said, okay, well, my daughter lives down here. Maybe I can talk her into coming and doing it. Except, of course, as she told me, she's like, well, then make sure you leave her the keys. I'm not going to go leave her the keys because I need to get the fuck back at Mariposa and fuck out of Los Angeles. Not go deeper into Los Angeles trying to get a hold of Delilah, etc. To give her the keys. I can mail them to her, I suppose, easily enough. But probably any further action on the safe deposit box closure front will be postponed at least a year, maybe a decade. I don't like to rush into changes, you know. I like to make sure I take my time and I'm eased into the change. And I think in 10 years from now, I'll be ready to make that appointment. Just like 10 years from now, I'll be ready to get my diabetes test so I can get my teeth fixed. I mean, getting my teeth fixed is so expensive. That's a very good reason to not want to get my teeth fixed, actually. You know, it's like it's like 6 months of living expenses or something. 6 months of the cost of life to get my teeth fixed. I feel like I need a more determinedly reliable positive cash flow before I start chunking out 25 grand for dental work. I mean, I expected it to be around that expensive, but when he told me, like, oh, this is this special discount. You see, if I were to actually do it all a la carte, it costs $37,000. I'm just like, oh my god. It's not like they're putting a different implant in for each tooth or something. That was for just the top of my mouth, not the bottom. And it just has, it's called all-in-4 or all-in-3. No, it must be 4. All-in-4. It has 4 implants, 2 on each side, which the teeth thing sets up on. There's another kind of cheaper kind of implant, which I might look into for us. Like, this would be a much more doable thing. Like, get a 1 tooth hole, put an implant in it. Get the thing they got to put an implant in 1 of the tooth, so that it doesn't look as bad, but it's not really fixed all the way at all. But it's still going to look substantially different. If I could get two more teeth in the front here, it would look a lot better than it does now, and it would not cost me a la carte $37,000 for just the top half of my mouth. Or if I take his bundle deal, $25,000, which I can pay up front with a cashier's check. Don't I need to get the diabetes test first? Oh no, we can help you either way. What do you mean? I mean, you just told me you can't help me unless I get a diabetes test. Now you're telling me you can help me no matter what its result is. So why do I need the test? I don't get it. Well, I need to know that you have diabetes if you do, because why? Well, because people heal more slowly when they have diabetes. And what are you going to do about that? Well, we just need to make sure your diabetes is under control. I don't have diabetes, you fucking tard. Most importantly, fuck you. You're telling me to bring a cashier's check for all $25,000 up front so that you can help me, but you also tell me, have to call and tell me, you asked me if I smoked. Yeah, I smoked. How much? About half a pack a day, I told him, which was true at the time. It still is, mostly. There are some days when I smoke more, but there are also plenty of days where I smoke less than that, too. I definitely have cut down considerably from before I took Wellbutrin. Anyway, so I said about half a pack a day. He said, alright, well, that's good, because if it was a pack a day, I wouldn't be willing to do this workout. Why not? Well, because cigarette smokers, they have a big chance of it not healing in their mouth right or something. I don't know. When I tried to get him to explain his reasoning behind that, he told me some bullshit. I don't exactly remember what it was. I pointed out some obvious flaw in his bullshit. And he said, well, it's right there on it, though. It's like, the smoke's reading right on it. Okay, fuck's hard. All you need to do is inform me of the risks. If you get these implants, they might not take if you don't heal properly or whatever. All you need to do is that, and then I won't be mad, regardless. But he was saying, well, I can't give you a guarantee if you don't blah, blah, blah. I said to him specifically, who has ever heard of a guarantee on medical work? I mean, after all, just because a doctor fixes your broken leg doesn't mean it's impossible for you to break it again. Have you ever heard of such a thing, a guarantee on medical work? I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is, if there's a problem the first amount of time, you'll fix it for free. And I should value this service of yours a lot. Fuck off. I don't want a guarantee. I want my autonomy respected. I want consent, medical consent to be respected rather than worked around with, this supervenes on that shit. Well, you can't get this until you get a meow test. And you can't get that until you get a meow test. I don't consent to any of those things. I would like to consent to this, but I guess I'm not allowed to. Without consenting to a bunch of stuff I don't consent to. So anyway, I'm glad that doctor had an opportunity to go fuck himself by not getting me answering any of his calls. Or more correctly, by having me expressly not answering any of his calls. Alright, I need directions to the weed store. I'm not sure I can find it. Is it right there or something? This looks so familiar. It seems like it's got to be around here somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull over. Oh, there's that. I'm gonna have to pull over and I guess I gotta end the stream right now. I'll pull over, read the chat for a second, then I'm gonna end the stream because I cannot find the weed store without the phone. It's kind of a strange place. It's got some parts of it are super cool and like old Victorian buildings and parts and that kind of shit. And some parts of it are a little bit like graffiti-ish, a little squalid maybe. But look at this fun font. I'll show you guys this fun font. Let's go outside. Let's take a break. Take a break here. Let's attend to matters that are important to us for our feelings, not for our outcomes, not for our thoughts, for our feelings. You know that game, I Spy with My Little Eye? You should have an equivalent game called I Feel with My Little Heart. I feel with my little heart something that's kind of like a soft, squishy feeling with kind of like a in there with some too, and also a little bit of That's how. Is it a loaf of bread? Yes, you got it. That's exactly how I feel about a loaf of bread. Oh God. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's take a gander at this font. I like it a lot. What is it? Proto Comic Sans or something? This place is pretty squalid, right? But its sign is great. The courtyard. Neat little town in its own way. I wouldn't want to live here, but if I were to live in the poor part of Merced, it would be right there. One of the places that's not so nice. All right. Now let's look at the chat for a second. Jody Renee McDaniel, I do curse on this channel. If it's not appropriate for you, then I'm afraid you'll have to find your entertainment elsewhere. Yeah, I know DoorDash is a ripoff. We don't have it up here, fortunately. Azura, I'm not on the road looking for that BBC. Well, William, we could get a bank closer to home, but even if we did, it would have. I mean, if I could have just got all the stuff out of the safe deposit box today and brought it to my house. It just seems a little sketch having, a bunch of platinum, palladium, gold, and stuff at your house. At least I know that it's going to be really difficult to steal out of the safe deposit box from the bank. Pretty much, I don't think any criminal is going to be able to do that. I think they'd be perfectly safe at my house too if I just hid them. I've got a big enough space that, and the things I that are of value have a small space to value. I mean, a big value to space ratio. So it's not that hard to hide them. I've got an attic, I've got a shed down there, I got hide them any number of places. And then it's like, if a robber wants to steal them, he's gonna have to go through every one of these fucking million cabinets we have. We have so much storage space. And it's gonna take them a long time. Even if they know we have them somewhere at the house, which I wouldn't say anything about that if I did that, but I didn't do that. Then they'd have to they'd have to have like a couple of days with us not home to really ransack the house to find them. But instead of worrying about it at all, I just leave it in the safe deposit box. And as far as why don't I move it up to Mariposa Bank safe deposit box? In part, it's because closing the safe deposit box in LA required me to make an appointment at the bank. Naturally, if I had known that I was going to want to consolidate the two into one, and because I'm not sure why we ever had two. They could all fit in the big one. Everything could have always fit in the big one. For some reason, we have two. We have one little thin one and one big one. If I had known I was going to do that today, and if I had also known that closing a safe deposit box requires you to make an appointment at the bank, then presumably I would have made that appointment at the same time that I was going to arrive down there to get stuff out of it. Unfortunately, I did not know all of that ahead of time, so we're still with our same safe deposit boxes. All right, so I'll see you all later, all three of you. If you are here later, when I return with more live streaming from Talking with Famous People.